Hello and welcome to this channel. So this is the Data Analyst channel. If this is the first time watching me, kindly subscribe to this channel and then hit the notification bell so that when new videos are uploaded, you can be notified. Also, you can leave your comments in the comment section. So in today's video, we are going to look at how we can do this health analytics and how we are going to build this Power BI dashboard. Okay, so I want to walk us through this whole dashboard, how it's like this thing. When you click on it, you see the changes here. You can see when we click here, you see the changes here. You can see. So we are going to design something similar. We are going to replicate the same thing in this first part of the video. And then in the second part of the video, we'll look at the key breakdowns. Okay, how we are going to look at all these, how we can design all these ones, how we design all these ones. So now let's get started. So I'll head over to Power BI. I'm going to open a new um, I'm going to open a new BI. Okay, so I'll come to Power BI. And then you can find the data set in the video description below. So I will come to our data is in CSV, or it's a CSV file. So you come to get data, okay, and then you click test or CSV, and then on my laptop, this is where my data is. So I'll select it, okay, and then I'll wait for the data to load. So this is my data, but I'm going to transform. I'm not going to load. So I'm going to transform the data, probably tweak it the way I want, check for errors, and then make sure that everything about the data is very well. So I'm waiting for this to load. Waiting for this to load. So now this is my data. Let me come to the column. Come to view. Let me check if there are any errors with my data. There is no error. Column quality, you can see everything is 100. I'll right click. And then I'll right click and then come to transform and come to round and then round. Okay, and then it will come up how many decimal places. I want 2 decimal places, the billing amount. Then you see that it's been changed to 2 decimal places. Okay, so now we can see we have a discharge date here, and then we also have admission date here. But then I want to find out the period of admission in days. Okay, I want to look at the period of admission in days. So I'm going to head over to add a column. Okay, so I'm going to add a new column. Okay, so I'll come to custom column, and then I'll make the name admission period. admission period. And then over here, I'm going to write a DAX. So duration dot days. Oh, sorry. Duration dot days. Select the first one. Then we come here, we come write the discharge date, then a minus, so discharge date minus the admission date, okay, or date of admission, and then I close this. So we see there is no syntax errors here. Then, okay. So over this one, I'm going to change it to whole number. So I'll click here and then I'll make it a whole number. Okay, I want to make it a whole number. So with this, I think we are done with this one. Then I'll click, I'll come here and click on close and apply. So you wait for our data to load. Wait for our data to load. Okay, so this is our data set. But I want us to come here, the model view. I'm going to create a new column where I'll be doing all my calculations, all the business calculations, so to say. So um, a new table rather, or probably a new measure where I'm going to do all my calculations. Okay, so let's wait for it to load. So the name of the table is calculations, then equal to, then I commit. You can see it here. Okay, then I come back to my main thing. So now we are going to begin our dashboard. Okay, so let me head on to, now that I'm done with the basic data modeling, I'm coming to do the dashboard design. So I'll come to insert and I'll come to shapes. Okay, so I'll bring this here. Okay, before this, let's come and customize our colors before I start the dashboard design. So I'm going to come to customize the current theme. I'll head over to this website called Coolers, where I'll head over to this website called Coolers, where I would come here over to Coolers and then click on Start Generator. So I'm going to type in specific color codes. So that is what we are going to use. So the first one is 2F66 90. Then you press enter. And then the second one is 3A7 CA5. Then you press enter. Then we come to D9 BCD6. Then you come to 16425B. Then you come to 81C3D7. Yeah. So this is the colors that I'm going to use. So I'll first copy this one and come to my BI. Okay. And then the first color, I'll just come and paste it here. And then I'll apply. Alternatively, you can also type the same codes here instead of copying from there. So A7C A5. Then I'll come here. Then I'll type 16425B. Then I'll type color 4, which is, so sorry, color 3 is rather D9DCD6. And then color 4 is 16425B. And then color 5 is 81C3D7. So this is the color that we are going to use. So now over here, I'll come to general, I'll come to shape, and then the shape, I'll come to style. And I'm going to, let's go and check our dashboard here. So you can see this dashboard. Okay. So we head over to this one, and then we change it to this one, this color, and then we increase our transparency to 7 to 79. Yeah, so that is it. And I will bring this one this bit. So now I have this one. So when we go back to this dashboard, okay, you can see this one. You can see this shape. So you come to insert and then shapes. So I'll bring this one here and I'll resize it. And I'll come here, I'll come to general, check, and then I'll come to style. I'm going to change the color to this one. Let me just check over here. Yeah, so I'm changing the color to this one, and then I'll check if everything is fine. Let me turn off the border so that we don't have any border here. Okay, So let me click on this, click outside, come and select the shape. Let me come to style. Let me turn off the border. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Come on. So now we are going to do our first. So we come to the visuals. I will insert a visual. You come to insert. So when you are on home, you come to insert new visual. I'll come here and then insert a card. This one, and probably um, I'll come and then probably do maybe age. I'll select age. Okay, and then I'll come to format visual, and then the format visual, I'll come to call out values. I'll turn off the value, and then I'll turn off the label. And I'll come here, come to effect and turn off the background. And then I'll come to cards and then turn off the border, the background. I'm going to change it to this same color, which is this. And then come in this color. And I'm going to turn on the shadow and turn on the glow. Okay, so the shadow, I'm going to use this same color, and then the glow too, I'm going to use that same color. Then I'll resize it. Let me resize this and bring it here. Let me resize this. Let me come back and turn on the border and see what happens. No, let me just bring it here. Let me check with my glue. Let me make it bottom. And then the shadow, let me make it center. No, let me also make it bottom. Let me bring this here. Let me check on the other one. Okay, let me change the color of the shadow to black. Yeah, this is a bit visible. And then I'll come here. So now I'm going to insert an image. So I'll come to images and then turn on the images and come to browse. I'll head over to where my, and I'll pick this icon. And that is it. Let me resize this. Yeah. And then I'm going to insert a text box. So let me write health analytics. And let me write the data analyst channel. So the data analyst channel. And let me format this. I'll come to effects, going to turn off the background. Okay, bring this one here, resize this one, select, change the color to white, increase this to 18, and then bolding it, and then increase this to 12. Let me resize this here. Let me try and then resize this. Okay, so let me make sure to save this one so that we don't lose this file. Okay, so I'm coming to start with my first set of design. So I'll come to insert visual and then come to select the medical condition. Okay, um, let me clear this. So insert visual, and then I'll come to select this card and come to medical condition. Okay, so over here I'm going to change the layout. Maximum is 1, card shown is 1. Okay, and then spaces, I'm reducing it. So this, I want a single column. Now I'm going to change it to title slicer rather. Okay, and then I'll come here to the shape and change it to rounded rectangle and reduce this to 10. And then slicer layout, I'm going to make it 6 because, and then I'll make it a single row. Okay, then I'll come to general and then I'll turn off the background, I'll turn off the title, I'll resize it and bring it here. Okay, let me click outside, I'll select this one. I'll resize this. So let me change this one to medical condition. Okay, yeah, I'll resize this. And then I'll come here and come and work on my button. I'll click on it. I'll come to fill. I'm going to change it to the same color. And I'll turn off my border. And I'll come to turn on my shadow. And I'll turn on my glow. So on my shadow, I'm going to change the color to this. Probably make it this or change it to this. No, let me make it this one. Let me make it center. And I'm going to change my glow. The glow, I'm going to make it bottom. So let's change this. Now let's work on the hover and all these ones. Okay. So now let me come to my the call out values, and let me change the font to Sego UI. Okay, and let me reduce it over here. And now let me work on the states. So when I hover, how do I want it to be like? You see over here in this particular dashboard, when we hover, you can see this black, and when we select, you see when we hover, we see the text change to black, and then it pops out. You get it? So let's see how you are going to do that over here. So when I hover, let me change it to default and reduce this one. And then when I hover, I'm going to change it to 11, 12, and then bolding it. Okay, let me change it to 11 and bolding it. And then I'm going to change the color to black. And then when I select, I want it to be black. And then my font color, when I select, I want my font color to be white. And then, so you get it. So I want my font color to be white. And let me make it middle. Let me come here, selected the backend. So let me come to buttons. So the buttons now, um, when I select, I want my fill to change to black, not this color. So you can see it now. And when I hover, I like this one. Okay, let me go and then, yeah, so we are done with this first part of the design. So let me click outside. Let me click outside. Let me select this. And then resize this. So let's head over to our dashboard and see. So we have this, okay. So let's begin to make some calculations. So over here, let me change the default state, the font to white. Let me change my callout value, the default state, the font to white. So it appears okay. Okay. So let me, so now let's come to our calculations. You are going to do calculate the total number of patients in, or probably the total number of patients that we usually admit. Okay, the total, or probably the total admissions that we have. Okay, so we are going to look at the total admissions. Now, for us to get the total admissions, let's see, total admissions is equal to, so total admissions is equal to, let's come here. So I'm going to look at count rows, okay, and then we are going to look at filter. So count rows, okay, then filter, and then the filter, we select healthcare dataset. So now let me make my codes. Oh, I'm not going to add it. It's going to give us error. But here's what I want to do. So you press shift and then you press enter and you're going to get this. So data sets, let me select, then comma, then shift plus enter. And then I'll select not blank. So I don't want any issue. So not, then it's blank. So we don't want to count anything that is blank. Then healthcare data sets, and then I'll select date of admission. So there is my total. This is how I'm going to calculate my total admissions. Then I'll press this. It's going to give me error because I have not closed another. Um, I've not closed another, so I can now make it this way, and then you can see it here. Total admissions. Okay. Now let me create another calculation. You want to find the total number of patients that were admitted. Total number of patients. So total patients. So over here, we don't have IDs for the patients. Okay. So we are going to use distinct count of the names. Okay. So healthcare data sets. Then we come to name because we don't have, and then we come here. And when we come to, you see, when we go to we have admission rates, and then we have admission rates, we have this, we have total bill. So let's head over to the other one and see. So let's calculate our admission rate. Okay, so the admission rate, is going to be, so before we can do that, we need to know the total number of admitted patients. So total, admission rate is equal to divide, then total patients on total admission, then comma 0. So this is our admission rate. Okay, and then the next thing we are going to look at is the total bill per what we saw. So the total bill is equal to the, so total bill, as I said, the sum of the bills, the bill amounts. And then you will look at the total healthcare providers. Okay. Let me go back and check if in this particular um, dashboard, whether we are not going to need that. So for this particular dashboard, this is what we are going to need for now. So now let's start with our first set of designs. So come to insert visuals, okay, and then I'll come to cards, and then maybe I'll select total bill, and I'll come to um, format visuals, and then change, come to general, change this one, turn off the background, and then I'll come to reference labels, no, call out values, and then I'll change, turn off this, and then I'll turn off the label. Then I'll come and then resize this. I'll come resize this. Okay. And I'll come here. I'm going to come to cards and turn off my border, turn off, turn on my glue and my shadow. Okay. So my shadow, I'm going to make it center. And then my glow, I'm also going to make it bottom. Okay. Then resize this, bring this one here. Okay. And then I'll turn on, let me check, let's go and check this one. So we have our accent bar over there. So let me resize this a bit. And I'll come to accent bar, I'll turn on my accent bar and then bring it to the top and change the color to this. And then I will increase the width of my accent bar, and that will be it. So let me click outside, and then let me click outside. Let me click outside. Let me click outside. Make the selection. So I had to delete the rectangle, and then when you delete that, you come to canvas background and then you change the canvas background. Now let's continue. So I'll resize this to this, and then now let me start with my first set. So I'll come to insert visual. Okay, I'll resize this and bring the total number of the admission rate here. Okay, I'll change it to card view, and then so if you don't get the percentage, when you click on admission rate, the measure, you come here and then you click on percentage, it will change. And then I'll resize this. I'll come to format visual, come to general, and then turn off my background. And I'll come to my cards, turn off my border, and the background, I'll change it to this and increase the transparency to 75. Okay, and I'll resize this. Let me go back to my callout values, and then I will change this one to Sego UI and bring this one to 18. And then the label, I'll reduce it to 10, and the color, let me make it black. Okay, or let me just maintain it. Let me make it this one. It is not too clear. Let me make it this. This is fine. So let me resize this and bring it here. Let me also click outside. Let me just resize this one. Admission rates. Let me resize this. And then I'll come back to format visual, my cards, and I will turn on the ascent bar and then bring the ascent bar to the top and change the color to this. So I'll now copy Ctrl V, Ctrl C, bring here, and I'll change this one to total number of patients. So I want to get rid of this. So let me rename this to number of patients. So number of patients. Okay. And I want to see the raw number, the total number. So I'll come here. I'll come to my call out values. I'll change the series to total patients. And then the display unit, I'll select none. So if you don't see this comma there, when you click on your total patients, you click here and then you will see it. So I see the total number of patients now. So when I select a medical condition, it changes. You see, it changes. So now I'll copy and paste, and I'll drag this one here. And let me bring this one a bit here. And bring this one here somewhere. Yeah. And then I'll resize this one. I'll bring this one up. And this one, I'll change it to total view. Okay. So the total bill, I'm gonna come to the call out values. I want to increase it some more. And then I want to bring it to the middle. So when I click on this, I see the total bill. Okay. So this is it. Now I'm going to insert another visual. We want to look at the insurance providers and the total number of people that probably they've insured. Okay, so insert visual, I'll change this to matrix, and then I will select insurance providers. Okay, and then the total number of patients. I'll resize this one and drag it down here. So I'll change this one to this, and I would have to work on this too. Let me come here and come to cell elements. Let me maintain the background color. Column headers. Okay. And then come to grid. Horizontal. Comment. I don't want vertical grid. I don't want let me check the border. Let me change the color to this and increase the width. No, one is okay. Yeah. Let me turn on the vertical grid. Change the color to this and here. So maybe that's what I'll do. Now I'll select this, Control C, Control V, and I'll drag this here. I'll resize this. I'll resize this. So if you look at this one, we have this is the set of um, this is the set of visualization we are going to work on. Okay, so over here, you see when you click here, mm, we are able to see this. However, you see on the total bill, when you click, you're able to see the subtitle. We are going to work on the subtitle. And then, so when you click here, you're able to see the total number of patients that we are dealing with, okay, by the admission type. So now, let's go back to what we are working on. Let me work on the subtitle now. Let me work on the subtitle now. So it means my reference, my callout values, let me change it to horizontal and then increase the label to maybe 12. Since that one is going to be, and change the color to black. Yeah. And then my layout, let me turn on my divider. Let me go to cards and then okay. Okay. So now let's work on the subtitle. It's a measure that we are going to look at. Okay. So it's a measure that we are going to look at. So I'll make the measure subtitle. So subtitle is equal to if is filtered. Okay. If it's filtered healthcare data sets. Healthcare data sets. And then we are going to do the subtitle for the medical condition. Okay. Close this brackets, comma, selected value, the healthcare medical condition, Okay, you select it. Mm. Or so if it's filtered, if I filter the healthcare medical condition, give me the selected value I select. If not, if I don't select anything, all conditions. And then I close this and I come here. Okay. So over here, let me turn off my callout value. Let me come and turn off my this label, and I'll come to general, turn on my title. So I'll make it to tableau. Okay. And then I'll break my divider here and make my divider dash. Let me come here and turn off my accent bar. I'll probably bring my accent bar down to the bottom. Okay. And then come to subtitle, come to general, you see subtitle. Let me turn it on and I'll select FX. So when I select FX, so I'll come here, click on it and select my subtitle. Okay, so you can see your conditions. So when I click on asthma, it changes to asthma, the total bill for asthma. So now let me work on the background. Let me come here, effects, and turn on my background. And then select this, change it to 75. And then I'll come to my visual, and then I'm going to turn off the background for the visual, and then I'll get this one. So when I select this, asthma. So let me come to general again and change. Let me select this, come to general and change my font to Sego UI and make it 13. Yeah, it's fine. So now let's come to this one. Insert visual, and I'll come here and select this, the key influences. And I'll come and select the type of admission type. Yeah, the admission type and the total number of patients. Come in, let me come back again. Oh, new visual. I want admission type, not admission type. Is it? So I'm going to select this visual multi-row card, and then I'll select the admission type and then the total number of patients. And I'll bring it here. I'll resize this. I'll come, effects, turn off the background, come to visual label, come to card, change it to Sego UI, and then come and turn off the title. So patients by admission type. change it to circle UI, and then try resize this. And then let me reduce this to 12 and try and resize this. Let me click outside. Yeah. Yeah. And then I'll come to title, change the color to this, make it bold. Let me change the color of the title to this one. Yeah. Patients by admission type. So when we click here for cancer, we're able to see those that were by elective. Okay, there's admission type, and the admission rates, those that came that were emergency, those that were urgent. You get it? Okay. So when I click on cancer, so this is the total number. Asthma, so cancer, you see this is the total number of people, those that were this, and that. And you see when we add all these, we are going to get this total number of patients. Now, we want to see those, the gender. So insert, you come to this, then you come to gender. And then we want to see the total patients, the values. Let's come here, bring it here. So turn off the background, the title, let's make it 12, change it to Sogo UI, change the color to this same one, and make it bold. And then you see this one, I'll come to my card visuals, detail, and I'll come to all details. Okay, so when I come to all details, I want the values. I'm going to change this to none. Okay, and because I have this male female, I don't need this legend. So let me select this and turn off the legend. Okay, and then I'll come to insert image. I'll bring this, resize this, and then come, select this, and resize this. So I'll select both and come to format, align, and I want align middle. And think I'm good. Okay. So you can see out of this, those that are female, those that are male. Now let's work on our last set of um, visualization for this particular video. I'm going to continue the next part in our next video. So make sure you continue watching this video and it's going to be helpful so you understand the whole visualization. Okay, so now let's save this. So what is it telling us? Let's go to the other visualization. So over here, patient by age group. Okay, so the patients by age group. Let me just format this one. My data labels. Let me make it label. Yeah. So that's now we can resize this one. Okay. Click outside and then I can resize this one. Yeah. Okay. Let me save this. So we need to know the age group. Okay. So um, we need to get um, group the various ages into different intervals. So now I'll come to um, transform data. I'm going to add a column for the age group. Going to work on the age group. So now add column. You come to conditional column. So the name of the column is age group. Now the column name is the age is when it is greater than or equal to 70, then the output should be 70 above. Okay, and you add clause else if age is greater than if age is greater than or equal to let me make this 60, then make it 60 to 69. Else if age is greater than or equal to 50, make it 50 to 59. So if age is greater than or equal to 40, you make it 40 to 49. If age is greater than or equal to 30, you make it 30 to 39. Else if age is greater than or equal to 20, then you make it 20 to 29. Else 19 and below. So you know the teenagers and the children. And you click OK. So now there's our conditional column. So this one we can't change it because we have some letters mixed of something. So we just come, close and apply. So it's loading. Let's see. So when we come here, we can see age group. So now let's insert a new visual. And then we are going to select the start column. Okay. Then we select age group. And then we will select the total number of patients. Okay. So now let's bring it here. Let's resize this. Okay. So now over here, I'm going to sort it from A to Z. And yeah, let me come here. And my x-axis, let me turn off the title. My y-axis rather, let me turn off the title for the x-axis as well. And let me come to title, make it bold, and change it to 7 UI. Make it full. Change the color to this one. Let me come to my visual and come and click on columns and change it to this. Let me change this one, the whole thing to this because I'm going to add something to it. Yeah. And then let me come to columns and change it to this color. Yeah. Yeah. So you can see. So now let me come to my line and come and add let me check on it, my columns, my data label. So let me come here. The line has this. We want to see the average age. Okay. So let me come and calculate the average age here. Average touched age equal to average, then health data sets. I want the age. I close this. Then this measure will come and see average age. Okay. But let me come and change it to my lines. Let me change it to um, dashed, and let me make this. I don't want linear, I want smooth. Get it. And let me change the color of my line. The color of my line to black. Yes. And let me come and change the let me turn off the values for my y-axis, and then let me turn on the values for my columns. Let me close this. Let me close this. Let me close this. Let me close this. Come to data labels. The data label I want to show for only, so let me turn off the average age. Okay. Well, it may depend on what we want, but I want to turn on the average age for this one. And then I'll come here. I'll show this series. And then I want it to be inside center. Okay. So this is the total number of people in the various age brackets. But the display units, I want to make it 9. Okay, so this is the total number of people. But then we can still show the average age, just that it's going to make our chart clumsy. But you can turn it on and see for the average age for each. Then we can make it above. Okay, so you can see the average age. And then, so now let's work on our legend. So on our legend, I want to make this line and markers so we can see this over here. And then let's change this one to overview. Overview. So this is it. We have a very nice dashboard. Very nice dashboard. You can see. Now let me turn off these values here. Let me select this. Come to y-axis. Secondary y-axis. I think it's because of these ones. So we can just, and the icons. Yeah. So this is it. Last one. Let me come to insert shape line, and I'm going to bring this line here. Let me change this to 45, or then shape to 45, and I'll resize this. I'll bring it here. Close this one. I'll close this one. And probably the shape, the style, I'll change the shape to this and increase the transparency. I'll turn off my fill instead, and my border, change the color to this and increase the transparency. So you can see this very nice, beautiful. So we are done with this one. So in our next video, so before we run up, let's make some bit of change. So the gender, I'll come here and then come to formats, and then the title, I'll make it gender distribution. Gender distribution. Yeah. And the subtitle, I'll turn it on. Come here and then click on FX. Come and select, come to calculations, and then I will click on subtitle. Okay, so when I select this, it changes. When I unselect it or deselect, it comes to this one. Let me decrease it. I don't want this line though, so let me make it um, let me probably come here, increase this more, select this one, select this one, reduce it some more, and I'll click outside, and then I'll click outside and select this and reduce this and bring it up. Yeah, so this one, I'll select it and okay, it's better now. Then over here, we are going to rename it to patient by age group or patient age group. Either patient by age group or patient age group. Patient by age group. Yeah. And then you turn on the subtitle and you come. So we want to know for each of the age groups, I mean for each disease. So for instance, if I select this, um, you can see it. Okay. The average age, the number of people, and yeah. So I think I've selected something. Yeah. So this is the final dashboard, and in the next video we are going to look at the other one. Thank you so much. We are going to work on in our next video. We are going to work on this key breakdown. This key breakdown. Okay, and how we will work on the two tips, the additional information that comes when you overrun it. So make sure you practice, you follow the video through to the end. If you have any questions, you can let me know in the comment section. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly subscribe to this channel, share and like our videos as well. Bye. So welcome to the Data Analyst channel. So this is the part 2 of our previous project that we did. You can find the video to the first part of this project in the video description below. So in our previous video, we are working on a health analytics project, and then we designed the overview dashboard where we worked on the total bill, the admission rate, number of patients. So we filter based on the medical condition or the diagnosis. So when you click on asthma, for instance, you can see the results here. When you click on cancer, you can see the results here. You can see the changes. When you click on diabetes, you're able to see the changes here. So in this video, we are going to work on the key breakdowns over here. So you are going to work on these some top three healthcare providers, and then we are going to filter based on age, and also we work on our tooltip, how you can use this tooltip to give additional information, just as we see over here. So when when I put the cursor here, I'm able to see additional information for this particular age group. So let's get started. So I'll switch to the project dashboard, and then I would right click and duplicate this. So I'll duplicate, and then I'll double click there and then hit backspace and change this to key breakdown. Key breakdown. So I'm going to take this off. I'm going to take this off. I'm going to take everything off. I'm going to take everything off. I'll leave these two because I'll change the measures here. So let's start working on the measures. So over here in the previous in the main project that we are working on, we have the average admission days here and the total healthcare providers here. So now let's head over back to the this tutorial. So let's create a measure and name it average admission day. So I'll come here, right click and click on new measure. And click on new measure. Then with average admission days is equal to the average. Then we select the admission period. Yeah, the admission period. And then close it. But remember, let's bring this, make it to decimal places. So I'll select this, I'll come here, I'll deselect this and select that. And I get my average admission days. And over here, it was the total number of healthcare providers. So I'll also create a measure. We may have a lot of healthcare providers in our data set. If you look at it, some may be repetitive or some might have repeated. So we are going to use the distinct count. So total healthcare providers equals to, so let's make it healthcare providers equals to distinct count. So we're going to count healthcare. So let me type health providers. So we select the hospital. So we select the hospitals. Health, we select the hospitals. And then we close it. And then we come here. So now I will select this, deselect admission rates and select healthcare providers. So let me come here. I want to change this. Okay. So I'll come here, visuals, I'll come to cards, I'll come to core values, then the series I'll change it to health providers, and then the unit I want none. So this is it. And then we need to change this one. Okay. So in the project that we are looking at over here, we are going to filter by age. But we need to categorize the age or group the age. So I'll come to data transform. I need to go and group the ages. And then let's wait for it to load. So come to data transform. And then I will come to add column and conditional column. I'm adding a conditional column because I'm going to give some conditions. Yeah. So over here, I'll make the name age group. And when I click here, I'll come and select the age. If age is greater than or equals to, if age is greater than or equals to let's start with equals to, let's go and check our age data first and see the age range, then we can know the kind of conditions here. So okay, so we can include above 70. Okay, so we can include above 70. Okay, so now let's come back to our conditional column. Let's click on it. You can see, we click on it, click on the settings sign, and then this will come up. Okay, so that is how we add it. So when you click on it, when you click on conditional column, then you come here age group. So if age is greater than or equals to 70, then above 70. If age is greater than or equals to this, then that's, I hope you can see it. Then else below 19. Then you click OK. Then you come here, you can close and apply. Because this was done in a previous video. If you watch the part 1, you get to understand this. So we will come here, we will deselect medical condition, and then we select age group. Okay, we select our age group. So you need to work on this visual. I want to show only 5 age groups so that the next ones can go there. So probably the next page, let me put it that way. So I will select the visual and then come to button. Okay, and then come and call out values, slicer settings. So I would come to buttons and then I'll turn on the border. Okay, and I'll come to layouts and select the maximum cards to show. I want to show 5. Let me even show 4. No, let me show 5. And then I'll close the spaces. And then come to overflow. I'll make it this one. No, continuous flow. And then horizontal. Now, let me change this one. Vertical, pigmented. But then I'll make this one horizontal. Okay, so that when you click here, it goes to the next one. Okay, and then my values, my callout values, I'd want to make them this one centered, and then I'll change. Yeah, so that is it. So now let's come and work on the next visual here. So I'll click outside. So the next visual in our previous, we have the blood groups type or the blood groups here. So I'll click on, I'll come here, my home, and then click on insert visual, a new visual. I'll drag it here, and then we need a blood group. So we need to create a measure to do that. So I'll click here, new measure, and then I'll come to blood group. So the new measure. So blood group equals to count. So I'm counting blood group. So I'll type blood and then the blood type. Yeah, that'll be it. So I would need this blood group measure and the total number of patients. Okay, so I'll change the visual to this. Okay, but then on my y-axis, I need to bring the blood type here on my y-axis. The blood type. So this one here. Yeah. So we just need to format this. Okay. We just need to format this. So we are going to work on this visual. Take off the values. Take off the title. And then for now, let me leave the legend. Or let me take off the legend. Or probably let me leave the legend on. So we are going to work on making how we can transform this to this. How we can transform this to this over here. How we can transform this to this over here. So now let's go back and get started. Okay. So I'll come to visual. I'll come to format visual. And then I'll come to my ribbons. I'll turn it on. Turn this off. Turn data labels on. I'll come, and then for the series of the blood group, okay, I'm going to turn the value off. So I'm not getting what I want. So let's change the visual to this one. Yeah, to this visual. And then come to data labels. The black group is selected, and um, I'm going to change the bars. So let me change the bars, select the black group, change the bars to white. Okay, and then come to the y-axis, turn off the labels. Okay, and then I'll come to data labels, select the black group, turn on detail, and then I'll come here, add detail, scroll down, and then I'll look for black type and click on it. So my color, I want it to be black, and then I want my color to be black, so we can see it here, but we need to move it to the other side. Okay, so we need to move it to the other side. Then you come to position, then you make it inside this. Okay, let me change it to inside in. So let's increase the font to 12, and let's change the color to this, and let's change text overflow. Let's make this one inside this. So we have it here. Let's turn on test. So let's make test overflow visible. And then when we are done with this, we change it to the total patients. Over here, the position the same inside this, and we turn on text overflow, but the value, the units, I want none. So we've been able to get this. So let me come and turn off my x-axis, the values and the title. Okay, let's make this way. So let's rename it, the title to be patient blood group or patient blood type. Blood type. Sorry. And then let's turn off the legend. Let's turn off the legend. Yeah. So when we click on a date, we are able to see how it is. Okay, so now we are done with this part. Let's move on to the other visual. So let me readjust this a bit. Probably bring it down. Let me move this bit a bit up. Okay. So over here, we are going to look at the top 3 hospitals that admit people, and then also we'll come and work on this. Let's work on this. It's not looking good. Let's come and call out values, increase it to 12. Let me see. Let me turn off the border. Let me come to buttons, turn off the border. It's not making it look nice. The size is normal. Let me turn on the border again. This is better. Yeah. And then let me change this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is too much. Let me change it the layout to 4. Slicer settings, come to layout, and then let me make it 4. This is fine. Let me resize this. Okay, this is better. So over here, we are going to look at top three hospitals that people normally visit. Okay, so we'll copy this, Control C, we come here. But before then, let me delete. I want to turn off the background for this one. So I'll click, come here, come to General, come to Effect, and turn off the background. Okay. So Control C, Control V, and I'll bring it here and I'll resize it. So we want top three hospitals. So we'll deselect this, deselect this, leave the total number of patients, and then we come to hospitals. So I want us to use this one. Hospitals. So let's come search for it. Yeah. Let's build this from scratch so we understand it. So let me come to insert a visual and I'll come here. So I'll use this same visual. Okay. And then I'll bring hospitals. And then I'll bring total number of patients. For me to achieve this, let me create another measure and make it equal to. So say total, let's say total number of patients 2 or total patients 2 equals to total patients. Okay, then we do this. The reason is I want to do something like this so that it makes it easy for you to understand. I mean, your users should be able to understand. Okay. So now let's come to filter over here, this pane, and then for the hospital, we come to advanced, top N. Then we look at top three. Over here, by we want to use by the total number of patients. Okay, so we bring this one here by the total number of patients. So top three, and then we apply the filter here. So now let's work on our visual so that it looks very good. So I'll change the title to top three hospitals. Or let me make it top three health care providers. Okay. And then I'll turn off the legend for now. And then I'll come here to um, my bus. Let me turn on data labels first. Come here to my bus. Come to total patients. Let me come here. Let me reorder this. I want to make total patients to come up. Okay. Then come to bus, change the series to total patient 2, change the color to white. and then come to data labels. I'll turn off value and turn on detail. Then click on add. Over here, I want to use the hospital because I want to know the name of the hospitals. Okay, let me come here, the y-axis, let me turn off the values and the title as well. Let me collapse this and then collapse this too. Come to this part and the position inside base. I'm coming. Let me over. There is not what we want to do. So let me come here rather. Let me go back to the bars. Let me go back to the bars. This is fine. Let me come to details. Over here, I need to change this series to patient 2. Let me undo what I did earlier. So patient, let me turn off the detail, turn on the value. Okay, you work on the value. Let me turn the series to patient 2 and then turn off the value, turn on the detail rather. And I'll come to hospital. And then I'll add this detail. And then I would change the position. I would change the position to inside base. And then change the color to this. And increase the font. Let me make it 10. Let's see. Let me turn off the x-axis. The title. Let me um, increase the font again. Okay. So let's see if this is working. We are seeing this. We need to work on this. We said top 3 hospitals, but we are not seeing what we are supposed to see here. Let's investigate and see what is happening. So over here, let's instead of filtering by the total patients, definitely it's going to mess up. Let's look at top healthcare providers in terms of the billing amount. So total bill. Let's see. Apply the filter. Okay, so we have what we want. So we are now seeing it. Okay. So we change our title to top 3 healthcare providers by billing. We change this to Sego UI. Make this 12. Change the color to this. Make it bold. Let's change the color to this. Okay. Let's change the color to this. Yeah. And then our bars. Let's come and change the color of our bars. This to this. Yeah. Okay. Or probably let's maintain this one. Yeah. Okay. Now let's come back to this one. Let's work on this. Let's change it to Sego UI. So let's bolding it and change the color to this. And there should be that consistency over here. So let's change the color to this one. Okay. So we are done for this part. Let's go to our projects and check. Okay. So we need to work on the test results. Okay. The test results. So now um, let's insert a new visual. And then bring our do not charts. Then see test results. We want it here. Let's bring our test results as legend. And then the total number of patients as values. So let's resize this. Let's resize this. Okay. And let's turn off the legend. Let's come to table details. Let's make it all details. Okay. And then the title. The effects, let's turn off the background. Even over here, let's turn off the background for this one. Come back to this. And the title, you scroll down, you change it here to Sego UI and 12. And then you change the color to this for consistency sake. And then you bolding it. Okay. So we are going to add a subtitle so that we know. So the title, let's work on a title. So let's just make it test results for now. When we go to our main projects here, you see when I click on this one, okay, all conditions, you can see, so assuming I filter by this reflect all the conditions here. So let's come back to this one. And if you want to add a subtitle, you turn this on and then use this one. Sorry, subtitle. Okay, yeah. I want us to. This is not really looking. This is not really looking great. So let's come to. Sorry. Our ship. This looks too small. So let's come to our buttons and turn off the glow. Yeah, this is better. So we have this. So now we are going to work on this one, the last visualization. So going back to this project, we can see admission type and top five medications. Okay, so let's go and do it over there. So insert a visual, you bring it here, over here, and then medical condition. So we want the admission type. So admission type, we just want to know whether it was agent or so admission type, and then we want to know the gender too, and then the total number of patients as values. So let's resize this one. Okay. So let's work on this. The subtotals. So column subtotal values. Let's change the color to this. Change it to um, let's change our row headers. Let's increase it to this. Now row headers is fine. Let's make our column headers, increase it to this. So change the color. Yeah. And then we come to the values. No, we just want specific column, maybe the total patients. Let me change the text color to this one. No, I don't like it. Let me reset to default. I think let's leave this for now. Let's turn off the background so it makes it nicer. Let's copy paste and drag it here. We want to know the top five medications that people are usually given. So the top five medication by total. So we clear this. Let's change the visual to this. Let's clear this. Let's clear this. Let's bring medication. Okay. And then um, let's filter by the total number of patients. Top five medication by total patients. We apply our filter. Okay. So let's click here. Change this one to A to Z. Okay. We have. Let's now clear our X and Y axis values and titles. Now this one, we need the values. Let's clear the title instead. We come to our Y, we clear the title instead. Yeah. And then, so basically, we are done this one. So you can see. So now let's work on our tooltip. The next step. Come to a new page. Let's rename it to tooltip like this. Tooltip. Then you come here, page information, page settings, we change it to tooltip. Okay. You can click on control plus your mouse, then and enlarge this. And then let's come to this project and see how the tooltip was. Okay, so this is our tooltip. This is our tooltip. So you come here, come to projects, canvas background, you select this and transparency, make it so, let's select this one. So this is its our canvas background. So now let me select a card visual and probably add total bill. And I'll come here, call out values and turn it off. And I'll come to general, turn off my background. I'll come to this, turn off the label, come to cards, turn off my border, and I will expand this or enlarge this. So I would now change the background to this color. Very good. And then I'll come to and select my text slices. Okay. Or probably let me change it to cards. I'll resize this. And then I will select total bill, total patients, and then let's go check the values we selected in this one. So total bills, admissions, and then patients. Okay. So let's first work on our color for this one. We want to maintain consistency. So the color for this one. So we want to work on the color. Come let me come here, come to cards, come to background, and change the color to this rather. Yeah. So this, and then we come to admissions, total admissions. Okay. So let me just come here. And then over here to, I'll turn the background off. I'll come here, come to cards, and then I'll turn off the border. and I'll come to my call out values. Reduce it significantly. And then change this to circle UI. Reduce this significantly. Now I'll take my total bill and then let me change everything to all, and let me come to my total bill rather. And then the display unit, I'll make it none. And reduce, come to the label. Reduce the label, come to this, reduce this to 12. This one, let me change the to 1000 so that, or to probably millions so that it becomes easy. Okay, probably to billions so that it becomes easy. And then you come to total admissions. You change this to 12. Let me come to this. Change this to 12, 13. This is in none. Right here, total admissions. I'll come here so you can see this is it. And then the label. I'll reduce the label. So let me rename the test to admissions, and then change it to 10. Yeah. And then I'll work on the last one, total bill. Change it to 12. And then this one, I'll make it now. No, billion, sorry. I want to work on this one rather. Billion. Let's work on the total patients rather. Reduce this to 12 or 13, and then none. And then the label, reduce it, reduce it. The label, reduce it, come and call out values. Total patients. The label. Okay, so let me reduce all these ones to 8. Sorry, I have to 8. And then I come here, total bill to 8. Good. So we have this. Let's change the background. Come to visual. Let's change the background. Call out values. Let's change the background to same background. No, we don't want that. This was this. Let me change the series to all. And then I'll come to cards rather. Let me change my background to this. Let me change it to this. Sorry. Let me turn on my shadow inside, or probably outside center. Yeah, yeah, the shadow. Um, Let me turn off shadow. Let me turn off glow. Okay, let me check the shadow center. Okay, let's come here. Our layout speed 0. Okay, and then let's work on our call out values for total patients. Reduce it to 2. This is fine. Our label. Okay. Let's change our label all series, and the color is, let's change the label color all series. Let's change it to, color is white. So we need to work on. So we've gotten it now. And then when you come to these projects, okay, you can see we did the color. So now let's come here and come to our call out values for this one. Let's change the color to this. We need to work on this one. Change this one to total bill. Work on we selected this one. Yeah. So now let's see how we are going to add these details to our work. So let's go back to our previous work. Over here, you come to reference label. So starting with the total bill, over here, the total bill, what was the reference label we added? Average bill. And then this average admission, this average age. So you come here, the average, let's select bill. Okay. So we need to do a measure for average bill. So we come here, new measure, new measure. So average bill is equal to average of billing amount. Yeah. And then you come. So we are done with this. And then we come here and then add the average bill. The average bill. Okay. Let's come here. Average bill. Over here we changed this to admissions average. We have average admission rates. You can drag it here. Okay, so we make it average admission days. We work on it. So let's rename our visual. Let's make it average admission. Okay, so it will reflect here. Average admission. We are going to work on all these and then we change this one to total patients average age. Average age. Okay. So we are now going to work on all these labels. So I'm going to select my label average age. I'll come change the color to this, reduce this to 10 or probably 12, make it 12, and the value I make it 10, and the visual I make it none, display units none. Decimal I'll make it 0. And then I'll come to change the series to total admission. Over here, average admission. Even I can make a custom name here. Okay, or I can use this there. So we can go back and rename this one our visual. We can rename our visual to average admission days. And then when we come here, average admission days, we click on custom, and then we write average admission, and then we make it 10. Probably 8. Yeah, and then we change the color to this, and we maintain that. Let's go back to, so over here we come to total patients, we change this one to 8, probably to 10. This is fine. And then we come to the total bill, change this. This is, we change it to, this is fine. And then the color to this. So when we are done, we come here. Let me do something. I'm going back to this one. And we'll do this control and then use your mouse cursor. Let me copy this text. Copy, Control C, and I'll come here. Control V. Not this. Oh, let me undo this. Okay, let me come here and then uh, use a text box. Okay, so I'll write key metrics or key health metrics. Okay, um, let me turn off the title. And okay, so I want to resize this one. Key health metrics, and I'll change the font color to white. So let me highlight it and change the font color to white, and I'll broaden it, and I'll bring this pipe sign. So now let me set my image. Let me come to image and set image, and I'll come here to the image icons I've included in the in the file on this for this project. So I'm looking for the image. But when you go to the project files on GitHub, you can see it. So the healthcare datasets icons, and I'll select this image. So I'll have to resize my image. So I have to resize my image. Okay. So this is looking good. Let me bring it to the middle. So the last thing is we are going to add our tweeting, like how you see it over here. How you see it over here. Yeah. So let's move this here a bit. Nice. So you come here and then resize this well. Okay. So I'll click on this. I'll come here, come to general, turn on two tips and select it. So you can now see our two tip. So when we come here, we select the visual and then two tip. We select the visual and then two tip. Over here, let's work on this, the title. So title. So let's make it top 5 medication. Let's change the Sego UI and put this. Okay. Then we are done. So you come here, come to the overview. So over here, you're going to add a tooltip. Come to general, tooltips, you select tooltip. If tooltip is off, you turn it on, and then you can see the tooltip. Okay. As much, I mean, this one too, if you want, you can add tooltips. You turn it on, then you select tooltip. So basically, we are done with this project. If you have questions, you can let me know your questions in the comment section and I'll be willing. If you have any project you would want us to work on, you can suggest and then we'll work on it and then share the tutorials. Thank you for sticking through and then make sure you like this page, you subscribe and then share the videos.